YouTube, how's it going? This is video number three of the day. We're that excited about the draft and want to keep you guys covered here. Plenty of trade rumors floating around just one day before the draft. This is going to be a good one just because all these trades and the QB madness. But so I have some trade predictions here. I don't expect all these to happen. Maybe none of them will happen, but I took some teams we're hearing a lot about. I just what popped in my head, what could be realistic here, and the players that each of these teams can target. If you watch my recent mock drafts, it'll be like the similar situation without the mock part, but we got way more trades than what you see in the mock. So yeah, we've had plenty of videos just today alone, and plenty up to date in the past week or so. Plenty on the channel, so if you haven't seen any of that, check it out. Follow our Twitter, frogs_angels. Link is in the description. Later today and throughout the draft, I'm going to be going on rants, discussions, all types of stuff. So I haven't been doing much of that leading up to this point, but we will get into that a lot now. So go check out our Twitter. On to the first trade scenario. Going back to the Browns-Bills trade scenario, I had this in the past. Pretty simple one. The Browns come up to give up pick 4 to the Bills. The Bills obviously are in need of a quarterback and made it clear they would like to come up. And the Browns get pick 12 and 22. Now, people have been saying they might get more from this. Is it because each year the value goes higher and higher? The value chart doesn't matter anymore? Is that what it is? Or is it because there's a high demand for that 4th pick? A lot of teams trying to get in there and get that pick, so they have to outbid other teams basically. So they could give up more than this. These trades scenarios, I kind of went with what's fair. From my knowledge over the past few years, I've been doing this for a while. I know the value's gone up since way back, but this is what I feel is fair. The Browns could get a little more. So the Bills would come up to 4. Realistic that Josh Allen's their guy. I think they could still come up even if Josh Allen's gone. I think they are pretty equal on a lot of quarterbacks, but I think Josh Allen's their guy of the future. I don't want them to give up too many picks. This would be okay because they still have a few second rounders and more picks going throughout the draft. So it's pretty obvious that it would be Allen or another quarterback. What would the Browns get going back from 12 and 22? I think you look at a few positions. The linebackers are very good, but I think other positions are more likely. You look at DB. If Minkah Fitzpatrick's still around there at 12, they would like him. And then offensive line could be an offensive line pick at 12 or 22. Joe Thomas retired. You always need upgrades at O-line. There's a pretty good value of guys in that 12 and 22 range. And then running back. If Darius Geis is sitting there at 22, maybe they like Sony Michel more. That could be good. It could work out. I would like, even though maybe you're passing on Saquon Barkley, what would you rather have, Saquon or Minkah Fitzpatrick and Darius Geis, or a Connor Williams? It's hard to say Connor Williams. It's hard to say Mike McGlinchey as well. He could go in the top 12. I don't know if I agree with the pick. It's tough. So if you're a Browns fan, let me know what you think. Would you rather stay put? What would you want at 12 and 22? Something realistic. I want to hear what you guys think. If you're draft fans, NFL fans, Browns fans, what would you want at 12 and 22? But on to the next trade. The Browns and the Packers. I know the Browns are going to trade twice. Not possible with the pick 4, but this is a different scenario. The Packers reportedly want to come up for a top-tier talent in the draft. I was originally going to have them in the top 10 trading up, but not too far in. But I noticed it said they want a top-tier guy. So I have them moving up to pick 4. If the Browns don't get a deal done with the Bills, I've heard they've been in talks with multiple teams, so that's why I decided to get 2 here with the Browns. 2 different scenarios. It's a hot spot, pick 4. So what do the Browns get? They get a boatload of stuff here. They move back 10 spots, back to 14. They also get pick 45, which is a second round, pick 76, which is a third round, and then the first pick in the 4th round. So that is a lot. That is a lot, but it's equal. Do the Packers want to give up that much? I think they have more holes than people think. They do have a lot of picks, but they're more later picks than this. So do they want to do this? They want a top-tier guy, so it might be worth it. I put Saquon Barkley and Bradley Chubb up here. You can't rule out the defensive backs. Minkah Fitzpatrick, possibly. I know they like him. You can't rule out the linebackers, Roquan Smith, Tremaine Edmonds, but you would have to think it's Saquon or Bradley Chubb. If Saquon doesn't go 2, do they go at Barkley? They haven't valued the running back position all that much over the years. Is this the guy that makes them do that, or do they go with Bradley Chubb and upgrade that defense? I don't know which one it would be, honestly. Barkley could be gone at 2, so maybe Chubb. They need some defense. They need to get some defense going. The Vikings win the division because of their defense. The Packers can outplay them on offense, but can they play on defense? Can they play well enough? So they need an elite talent like Bradley Chubb. So that makes sense. So if you're a Packers fan, let me know which one you'd rather have. I know Barkley may not be there. Chubb might not be there. We will see. But that's a lot of picks for the Browns. So if you're a Browns fan, would you rather do this deal or would you rather do the Bills deal? You get 2 extra first rounders out of the Bills, but you get more picks out of this. You already have plenty of picks. So I'd say the Bills one maybe is better. You have plenty of picks throughout the draft. So I don't know if you need these 45, 76, 101. You can use these then to get back up into the first round so you gain more first rounders and you still gained picks. So that it could be multiple different strategies there. I guess they do have some holes still, part of this rebuild stage, but they're getting further along it than we thought they would be at this point. On the next trade, I have Broncos and Cardinals. The Broncos, pretty clear right now they want to move back. Maybe if Saquon Barkley is somehow there, they do not. Cardinals, sounds like they want to move up. That talk's been going on, then it died down. Now it's back up there. It's got to be for a quarterback. We haven't really heard if it's for a specific quarterback. Maybe it's not for a quarterback. They did sign Bradford and Glennon, use some money there, but they do need a quarterback of the future. I would think they like Josh Rosen. That's my take. I would like him on the Cardinals. He could possibly be there at 5. So maybe this depends on if he's there at 5. They got to like other quarterbacks as well, though. But I see the fit with Rosen in the Cardinals. So the Broncos would get 15, 47, 79, and 134. So they move back 10 spots. They get 47, which is a second-round pick. They get 79, which is a third-round pick. And then 134 is a late fourth-round pick. So they get a good amount here. That's a good haul. If I'm the Cardinals, do I give away this many picks? I personally do not. I've been always a fan of keeping your draft picks, building a balanced team, Super Bowl contending team throughout the draft. I think that's the way to go. But Rosen, do you have a chance to get up and get a guy like Rosen in many years? No, probably not. So we'll see if it happens. I think this would be one of the crazy ones if the Cardinals move up, if it's with the Broncos or not. I think it would be crazy. Who would the Broncos be looking at if they traded back to 15, 47, 15? That's tough. You got to be looking at those linebackers. Maybe they drop. Maybe Rashaan Evans is there. Maybe somehow Roquan Smith, Tremaine Edmonds, most likely not. Could be looking at offensive line help there. 47 could be used for offensive line too. They could use some receivers in there, some more DB upgrades, and maybe those lower picks. But it's hard to say. 15 is a weird spot for the Broncos, though. That's the only downside of this. I don't know if 15 is really a good spot. Somebody good will be there. Maybe a Harold Landry reminds people of Von Miller. Do they necessarily need that position the most? No, but we will see. That's a tough one. It's hard to see the Broncos picking at 15. Maybe need to pick a little earlier, or maybe a little later for Darius Geis. Is 15 too early for Darius Geis? I don't think so, looking at his talent, but looking at how the draft may plan out, how guys may come off the board, it may be a little early, but he's a good enough talent for 15 is my point. On to the next one, Colts and the Patriots. So a lot of rumors we heard about Patriots coming up, get a quarterback, and they're floating around again. They really like Josh Rosen. They haven't really came out and said, we like Josh Rosen like they did Lamar Jackson. I think the Lamar Jackson thing's smoke. It's kind of just, he's a Patriots quarterback, really, so he's like their style of quarterback. What they're looking for is a Tom Brady replacement, I think, and he's more guaranteed as a future guy than Lamar Jackson is to some, maybe. So they move up to 6. Colts, they already traded back. They could trade back again. Their GM was saying that it's pretty good, pretty deep class in the first round, so they can get back and get just as good of a guy as they would earlier on. So maybe they do so. The problem with that is going back to 23 is a big drop. So they would get 23, 31. That's 2 first-round picks, but that's a big drop for them. They get pick 95, which is a third-round pick, and then 2019 first. So pick 95, why is that necessary in this? Is because that 2019 first is one of the last picks in the first round. So that's why the pick 95 is necessary. Looking at the trade value chart, you may not think so, but in my opinion, I believe it would be. And again, that's a big drop for the Colts who need some good, they need more players, I guess, rather than a top player, but they have the opportunity to get both. So that is a pretty far drop. Who would the Colts be looking at if they move back to 23 or 31? Really anything. The Colts could use pretty much anything but quarterback. They got 2 solid quarterbacks. They have a legit number 1 receiver in T.Y. Hilton. They need more, though. offensive line was really bad last year. Didn't do much in free agency. It could be just best available at 23, 31. You got to value the edge rush position, what exactly that position is. Depends on the defense. You would think DN for them. They're switching. But it really could be anything, any position there. I would maybe think running back with 31, looking at Ronald Jones. So maybe a pass rusher at 23, maybe if a good DB's there. And 31, I would think of Ronald Jones, Sony Michel. Somehow if Darius Geis is there, possibly. And pick 95, again, could be anything. Looking at a receiver, maybe around there. But on to the next trade scenario, the Bears and the Ravens. The Bears are a team that want to trade. All these teams want to. We're going to start getting into these teams that want to trade back in that 8 to mid range. But it's going to be hard to trade back in this class. It is going to be hard in that range, I think. Because those teams don't want to trade up, really. You almost have to find. Usually, if a team comes and finds you, they want to trade up. I don't know if it's that case this year. Teams want to get back because they know the depth in this class because the quarterbacks are going to push them back. So we'll see if a lot of these teams end up succeeding in trading back like I think the Bears want to. But the Ravens are a wild card to trade up 6 to 18 or 16 to 8. I got that backwards. The Bears obviously drop down 8 spots. The Ravens move up 8. That's the best way to explain it. And then the Bears get pick 52, which is a second round pick from the Ravens, and then pick 190, which is going to be a 6th rounder they got to throw in there. So the Bears need more picks, really, no matter what they are. They lost some in the Trubisky trade. Good thing is with that, they don't need a quarterback. This is a great class if you don't need a quarterback. So I think the Ravens can come up and get Tremaine Edmonds. I think they would be very excited about his talents there at linebacker. A guy that can play inside or out. They can use either one. I like him inside with C.J. Mosley. That would be a hell of a duo. They did draft well on the outside linebacker position for the future last year. So I think Tremaine Edmonds can help him inside more. Very good talent. Easily worth the 8th pick. The other question is, would the Bears rather just have him? We've seen mocks with the Bears taking Tremaine Edmonds. Per our Bears insider, Danny Provolone, they really like their current middle linebackers. They got Trevathan and Wachowski. They're actually high on Wachowski there, so maybe they don't need an inside linebacker as much as we think. Obviously, Tremaine Edmonds is an upgrade there, and Trevathan's had injuries in the past, but I mean, obviously, wouldn't be the upgrade over Trevathan. You'd start alongside him, but so maybe they're looking at something else. What would they be getting at 16? Would it be an offensive lineman? Would it be a defensive back if one of them drops to them? That's really tough. It's really up in the air there. Could it be a defensive lineman too? It could be anything at this point at 16. I had them move back in the past, get Rashaan Evans, linebacker from Alabama, but that's another inside. So if they're passing on Edmonds, maybe they're not looking at the inside. Maybe it's an outside linebacker. They've had some injuries on the outside. You know how much pass rush, how important it is. So maybe it's a Harold Landry, a Marcus Davenport. That'll be interesting. I would like Harold Landry on that defense, honestly. That'd be a great pick if they move back. And 52, they added, again, another pick, and 190 is a lower pick. But Ravens, wild card team to come up. They don't have a bunch of needs. Maybe it's for a quarterback even. That'd be a little surprising, but they got a pretty solid defense. They add Edmonds. That'd be very nice. Next trade, Dolphins and Chargers. All this talk of the Dolphins trading up for a quarterback could still happen, but I've been hearing there's a lot of talk about them trading down as well. Chargers, I keep in my mocks, I keep having them trade up. I haven't really heard that they're going to trade up. It just seems to me like a likely team because they don't have a lot of needs. They like a few of these guys a lot that should be gone by where they pick. So 6-spot movement here. Dolphins go down to 17. Chargers get 11. If Tremaine Edmonds is there, I think they take him. You discussed Derwin James, but Roquan Smith and Vita Vea, 2 guys I think they like a lot and that can realistically be there. Obviously, Vita Vea is more likely to be there. I think they need a linebacker and they need a D-tackle. They don't really need much else. Their offensive line was much improved last year. They could use another one because of injuries, but they don't need much. They need a linebacker and D-tackle. Safety as well, but I think they'll get one either in the draft or after the draft via free agency. So I think these are more of their worries right now, these positions. So they don't really lose a pick here. So they swap in the Chargers' favor to 11, but they swap big time from 131 to 48. The Dolphins go. So 131 is going to be late round 4, and then 48 is going to be round 3. So that's a big step up for only going down 6 spots in the first, but it is an even trade. The good news for moving up for the Chargers, they don't lose a draft pick. They still stay with the same amount of draft picks they started with. We'll go to the next trade here. The Seahawks and the Panthers. Seahawks go from 18 to 24. They move back, not too much. They want to move back. I know the Seahawks want to move back. They need more picks. Because they don't have a lot, and because they're in some sort of rebuild stage. I'm not sure what it is, but the good thing is they don't need a quarterback. But they go back from 18 to 24. They could even move back from that 24 spot again. That'd be interesting. So they only gain 85 here, but that's gaining a pick from not moving down too much. And 85 is going to be a 3rd round pick. So pretty good. You don't move down too much. You still keep your first at this point, and you gain a 3rd rounder. But then you're looking at the Panthers side, you're not giving up too much there. You only give up 1 pick. Panthers got to move ahead of the Cowboys. They have to take a receiver, I should say. Move ahead of Cowboys, take a receiver. Is it Cortland Sutton? Is it DJ Moore? Is it Calvin Ridley? I'm a big Cortland Sutton fan, but I would think they like DJ Moore. I'm thinking DJ Moore, honestly. It sounds like he may be the first receiver off the board. He can play slot, can play outside, speedy, shifty, can break tackles after the catch. I think he's their type of guy. I know they drafted Curtis Samuel last year. Is he going to be a future running back, or is he stay at that receiver transition spot that he made? We will see, but I think they'll like a DJ Moore. I think they'll also like Ridley and Sutton too, but maybe even Chark, but we'll say DJ Moore in this scenario. So they jump the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys would like DJ Moore as well. And the Seahawks get 24-85. Who would the Seahawks be looking at 24? Could be a number of things. Could be offensive lineman. Could be a running back. Maybe Darius Geis. Maybe Dallas Goedert. Is that too early? Josh Sweat. I know they're interested in Josh Sweat. That's more of his range. Maybe they trade down again, like I said. I think that's very realistic. You can see the Seahawks trading down twice. That's kind of a bold prediction to have somebody trade down twice. But compared to most years, I think it's more realistic this year we see somebody do that. On to the next one. We got this one and one more. So we had the Broncos trading back. Now we got them trading up. Both could happen, or one could happen. They would still gain picks if they did both. So that's the plus side here. They're very high in Will Hernandez. Could be another offensive lineman, but I know they like Will Hernandez. So they come up and get him. Maybe it's a Frank Ragnow. Maybe it's a Billy Price. We will see if it even happens and which one they're interested in. So they come up to 27. Saints want to trade back. They want to gain more day 2 picks, which they hit nicely last year. They only have 1 day 2, which is a 3rd rounder. So they get pick 40, which is a 2nd rounder. So they move back from 27 to 40. They also get 99, which is a late 3rd rounder, and they get 106, which is an early 4th. So pretty good haul here. But the reason for that many good picks there is because they do move back a pretty good amount, but they're not in need of a star player anywhere. So, and they're already picking late in the first anyways. The difference between late first and 2nd round, even late 2nd round, is not much of a difference in this draft. Maybe a few top tier talents may drop to late first because of the quarterback run. Depends on who's there for the Saints, but their team looking to trade back. So Broncos, again, I think they'll be looking for a lineman. A wild card would be a running back here, actually. If Darius Geis is still on the board here, we replace that Will Hernandez picture with Darius Geis. Also got to discuss the Ronald Joneses or the Sony Michels, maybe Nick Chubb, maybe a little early. Mason Rudolph, Lamar Jackson, wild card guys maybe. And then the Saints, who would they get with 40? Maybe if a Dallas Goedert's still hanging around, a Hayden Hurst. Looking at those guys, a linebacker, Malik Jefferson possibly. Could be a number of things. Could be another DB. Gaining picks here is good for them. They can fill out that defense and get a tight end and a receiver for depth possibly. Future quarterback, would you find one in there? I think if they're going to go big or go home if they went with the quarterback. Maybe at pick 40, that's a possibility if somehow Mason Rudolph's sitting around there, but I doubt it. But on to the last trade I got for you guys, the Jags and the Bucs. Let's say in this scenario, Darius Geis is sitting here still. But if the Broncos did that trade, then probably wouldn't be. But if he is sitting here, the Bucs will jump all over it, I think. I look at the Jags or the Vikings picking 29 to 30. Maybe even the Eagles last pick in the first round. So the Jags move back from 29 to 38. Obviously, the Bucs move up to 29. Get Darius Geis or the running back, Sony Michel, Ronald Jones, whoever they would like there. And then Pick 102 and 144 goes to the Jags. 102 is a very early pick in the 4th round, and then 144 is going to be a pretty early pick in the 5th round. So don't move back too far and you gain picks. The Jags maybe don't have a bunch of needs. They got maybe some needs of the near future they could use. And really what I noticed and what everybody probably notices, they did a good job drafting in these mid-rounds. Like they in a depth class, which this is going to be, they can get some prospects in there. They know how to do it. So more of a chance of them finding a Yannick Ngakoue, somebody like that. So that would be the reasoning for this. But if somebody really good is sitting there that can help the Jags win a Super Bowl right now, I would think they may stay put. So we will see. We will see how bad a team like the Bucs, the Broncos, the Giants would want to come up and get Darius Guys. That's if the Giants don't take Barkley. But really, talk about the running backs will be very interesting. If Darius Guys falls, it's going to push everybody back to Sony Michel, go ahead of him like people have been saying. Very interesting. Very, very interesting draft. Going to be one of the craziest in a long time, and I truly believe that. I think you guys believe that as well. Let me know what you think on those scenarios. I don't expect really many of those to happen. Those are just what's been floating around, my takes on them. But we got plenty of coverage on the channel. Go check out our Twitter, frogs_angels. We'll be going in depth on some draft discussions on there later today. I'll just post a thread, just random thoughts, and then during the draft, we'll talk about it a lot. After the draft tomorrow, we're going to have winners, losers, my thoughts on each picks. The day after, we will have actual grades for the first round picks and then a mock for day 2. So we got all kinds of stuff. We got you covered here. Don't you worry. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more. Check out our current content. That'll do it. Goodbye.